The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So here we are. We're starting to get into the nitty-gritty, but what I wanted to share with you, though, is some basics on business building. All right, because a lot of people, when they first get involved in business, especially when you watch shows like the Shark Tank, where people are coming in there and they try to create or develop a product based on what they like or the need that they think is out there in the world. They don't realize that the basic premise of all successful business building is about, went backwards here, giving people what they want, right? So how many businesses out there do you see on these shows like Shark Tank where they're not giving people what they want? They are just giving people what they think people might want or what they particularly like themselves, but they're not giving people what they want. I know it seems very obvious, but when it comes down to it, when I work with a lot of students one-on-one, especially with their, funnels, if any of them want me to do like a custom business funnel, I then have to do the painstaking conversation of asking them, why do they think people want this? Because people might not want this. You have to go with what people want. And that's the basis of being successful with any and all types of businesses out there. So what are your chances of success? Well, listen, you speak, read, and write proper English. If you're listening to me, you obviously speak English. So that's a plus for you. You know how to operate a computer because you're obviously listening to me on the computer. You have access to and know how to navigate the internet. At least I hope you do, or at least I think you do. And you know how to do basic research because if you can access and navigate the internet, you know how to do basic research, especially when I give you a little homework assignment to show you how to do that. You'll be able to do that. You know how to copy and paste a marketing campaign because I'm going to show you how to do that. And you will, if you want to be successful, you'll lose all doubt that you have about not being able to do this business because I could tell you can do this business if you know all of the above that I've listed there. So again, if you speak, read, and write proper English, you know how you could do this business. If you operate a computer, you could do this business. And if you can navigate the internet, you could do this business. So all you need to do is get off your ass and work an action plan, which I'm about to give to you right here. Your only tools to be successful is something that you already have, a set of things that you already have within you already. So the only thing you need to do is you have to kill the devil on your shoulder, if you will. He's got to just be deceased one way or another, because the only way you're not going to be successful is if you have the devil on your shoulder telling you that you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, you don't deserve to do this, what are you thinking? And you have to flick him off your shoulder as quickly as possible, because that's the only reason why you won't do this business. All right, that's the only reason why. So whatever you need to do is to subjugate that devil on your shoulder, so to speak, or the negative self-talk, or all the other stuff that goes on psychologically in your head to be able to move forward. Whatever you got to do to damper that or to get rid of that is what you got to do, because otherwise you're not going to be able to be successful in this business if you don't get rid of the negative voice in the back of your mind. Okay, so here's a snapshot of what you can expect and what's about to come in this training. You're going to be focusing in on a couple of different products for online marketing. There's health supplements, which falls under what we call the consumable category, which could be diet, weight loss, male enhancement, joint pain relief, and energy, and also anti-aging. Those are your tops in the health supplement or consumable. Anti-aging also includes topicals as well, which is something that you would put on your skin directly. And then there's the information publishing side, which is your home-based business opportunities, make money, and whatever, real estate, credit building, and anything that has to do with stock, forex, trading. Also to anything that has to do with building a powerful and successful multi-level marketing or network marketing company. So those are your best products for the online marketing space. So the health supplement or consumable side requires shipping. Obviously, you have to put something in a box or a bubble envelope to ship it out. And the information publishing side could go either way. You can work the virtual download side, or you can work the actual shipping side. Or you could decide to be an affiliate for companies that do sell these things. Like, for example, our company, Success for Life, also allows for affiliate programs, but also too, you can go to a company like clickbank.com and you can sell all of those as affiliates, and those are all pretty much virtual downloads. There's a few products out there that actually are under the consumable space. And I'll show you if I have time to do that, to show you what that looks like. But most of it is virtual download stuff. virtual download courses and stuff like that. All right, so you'll be the one doing you'll be doing one of these. You'll be driving traffic to your website exclusively with an online marketing strategy, not using any kind of offline marketing at all. But you're going to have to sell a physical product. That's one of your options. This is what we call online to offline marketing or method, where you're basically doing online marketing. Say, for example, you have a Facebook ad and you're driving it to your funnel to sell a product, and then ultimately you have to ship the product, which is offline. Obviously, you can't download a anti-aging product, or you can't download a health supplement, dietary supplement. But so this is what we call the online to offline marketing method, right? And then in your shipment, you should always have some kind of upsell for another product that you sell. You should never just sell or ship your product out with nothing selling something else. See what I mean? Most of the successful companies out there that actually sell products will actually ship their product, and they'll have some kind of catalog in there with it. They'll have some kind of sales letter or some kind of postcard or something selling another product of theirs. So that's what you should always do when you're selling any kind of physical product. The other way is driving traffic to your website using offline marketing methods, but you're going to deliver your product online. That's a complete and total switch, right? This is what we call the offline to online marketing method. And so an example of this would be you send out a postcard or a direct mail piece, which is offline, to ultimately drive traffic to your online marketing strategy or your marketing funnel. And then you sell a download product. Like I did this in the very beginning, and I killed it on this. This is really an awesome marketing strategy. And now I do it a little differently, and I'll explain as I go along how it's different. So basically you're sending out a postcard, say for example, to drive traffic to your website to sell a download product, which is delivered online. And I did this with the apartment building cash flow system years ago, which is a $97 download. So I'd send out postcards to people. People would go online to then ultimately buy the apartment building cash flow system at $97, and then so the delivery would be online. So that's how that works. It's rare to pull off in 2020 the online derived traffic to sell. I mean, you can, but it's gotten a little more complicated. And I'm going to show you as we go along how this whole process works, because it still does work for a lot of different products. I don't really recommend doing the offline to online. If you're going to do offline, you could do offline, online, offline, which is basically you do, say, for example, you send out a postcard to somebody, they go online and they buy your product, but it's not a download. It's actually something you physically ship. So I actually do offline, online, offline is what I do now, because I found that it's a lot more effective. But you could still make the offline to online work, or you can even make the online to online work. Online to online still works massively successfully, but you got to do a little bit more in your funnel now to actually make it work. So for example, if you actually have a Facebook ad or you have a YouTube video ad and it drives traffic online, and then you sell something as a download online, that's definitely something that you could still make work, but you have to have other things going on in your funnel, because I've noticed that all of my competitors, and myself included, we all have something that we ultimately physically ship now. So to do, like, say, for example, a YouTube video ad or a Facebook ad, which is online, to then get them to do a download and do nothing else, you can still make this work, but you're going to be limiting your income. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So if it's still starting to get confusing to you, don't worry, and just kind of let it roll off your back now, because all of this will start making sense as we go along. So here's an example. Having an eBay business, obviously you could use pay-per-click, which is the eBay system, where they actually, it's like an online mall where they have every bit of traffic that you can imagine in different categories. You could ultimately drive traffic to a product download, but you can't use eBay to do it. You can only use your pay-per-click to do the download side. So if you have an eBay business, which we're going to be talking about shortly, you can actually only ship physical products. They don't allow for downloads so much. They don't like downloads. There's also offline to offline. I will be talking a little bit about what I do with offline to offline, but I still use the offline to online to offline method, which is the one that I use. Offline to offline is just direct mail. That's it. It's like mail order, basically. So you're basically sending out a mail piece, asking somebody to place an order by usually sending a mailer, an order form back to you in the mail. Nobody really does this anymore. So we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about my offline to offline marketing method as we go along through this event. because this one's really kind of obsolete. To actually expect someone to fill out an order form and mail it back with, a check or a money order or, credit card payment, that's really not really done anymore. This is the old school mail order business, and it's not really done that way anymore successfully. So offline marketing is postcards, direct mail of any kind. It could also be your space ads in, say, a magazine or newspaper. And then you could ultimately drive these people to a website, and you can have a download delivery or a non-shippable product, or you could work on behalf of as an affiliate, and the affiliate company would actually ship a product, so you wouldn't have to worry about any shipment at all. Then there's the online marketing method, which you could use YouTube videos, which is my absolute favorite way to make money online, which is with YouTube video ads or eBay. You drive sales, and then you ultimately sell a shippable product of some kind. You could also use YouTube to be able to do the download delivery. So you could actually use YouTube to ultimately sell a download product. That's a possibility as well. So why not online to online? I mean, obviously you could do online to online, but again, if you're going to really be making money doing any kind of business, you're going to have to at least toggle some elements offline. Even if you're just an affiliate for someone who sells this stuff or ships this stuff offline, it's almost like you have to have both these days. And I'm going to show you a little bit about this business that I'm going to be showing you that one of my students makes over $90,000 a month with. And I have several other students that do extremely well. They're usually between like the 10, 15, 20,000 a month range. But this one particular student in particular makes over 90,000 a month doing this. It's pretty incredible, actually. But he does have to adhere to the partially offline marketing, because unfortunately that's where we've gone. We're now on the Amazon trajectory of things, where it was fine in like the 2010-ish, 2012-ish arena, where you can easily download something and make a lot of money doing that. However, people are so inundated with ads and PDF reports and all these different things that they're not reading anything that they're buying. They're not reading anything that they're getting for free. They're just not reading anything virtual anymore. And this is part of the reason why you have to kind of adhere to the Amazon rule, where, yeah, okay, you go online and you could order stuff and shop and this and that, but at the end of the day, you're getting a box at your doorstep. I mean, that's just how it goes, and that's how you're going to make a lot of money doing this. And I'm going to show you how you can actually have a very simple, easy business doing this, where you could be a mom and pop business or a small business who could get rich virtually overnight. Now, Google AdWords did make this possible back in the early days, but now all of a sudden that did evaporate due to all the slaps that they had. So Google AdWords years ago decided to straighten up and fly right by basically deciding to abolish anybody who had any kind of opportunity thing, any kind of shammy thing, and now they've gotten rid of pretty much everybody now. The slap started in 2008. I finally got slapped off 2 years later, which was in July of 2010. I'll never forget it. But the cool thing about Google AdWords, though, I mean, I have to say that I made more money off Google AdWords than I think any other online platform. Now, here's a little secret back door for you, if you will. And that is Google owns YouTube. And so when you actually do Google AdWords nowadays, you could do it through YouTube. So for example, you could upload a YouTube video. We'll talk about this later on. And you could advertise or promote that YouTube video, and you use the Google AdWords system to do that. And so that's how I'm able to actually get back in with Google AdWords, is by doing the YouTube video ads, which are those ads that start playing at the beginning of a video that you want to watch on YouTube, and then you could wait a couple seconds and then skip it. So that's what those ads are. And I actually do extremely well with YouTube because it conforms to the same kind of rules, the online rules that I really like, which is when you go to google.com, you only can do one thing there. And that is either type something in that you want to search that you're really interested in, or kick rocks, because there's no other choice. It's not like yahoo.com where there's a million different articles you could read. There's a lot of distractions. But with Google, the people that go to Google, anybody who's I've gotten as a customer off Google, is very focused because they really knew what they were looking for and they typed it in. It's one of the things I don't like about Facebook, is because Facebook just your ad ends up in a feed, right? And granted, somebody has indicated that they've liked a certain product or service that you're selling, because if you build your own custom audience through the behaviors and interests, you can only target, say, for example, like one of my most recent Facebook promotions was my Lost Secret book. And I was able to finally pinpoint anybody who had an interest in Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, in the law of attraction. I mean, I only picked like 5 things total. And that ad did extremely well, because anybody who's ever shown any kind of liking for Napoleon Hill or the book Think and Grow Rich were shown my ad through their feed. But the issue with Facebook, though, even still to this day, even to this very moment, even if somebody's interested in Napoleon Hill or showed interest in Napoleon Hill at some point in their lifetime on Facebook, doesn't necessarily mean they're interested in Napoleon Hill today or the day that my ad shows, right? So that's the issue I've always had with Facebook, is that your ads show up when they're sitting there bored looking at their phone, or when they're sitting there on their laptop just kind of looking to see what friends and family are doing on Facebook, but they're not necessarily ready for whatever message you have, even if they have shown some kind of interest or liking for your product or service, right? So that's the issue I've always had with Facebook. However, with Google, we're talking about YouTube and also AdWords. People are very clear on what they're looking for. Like at that moment, that's what they're looking for. They're hot and heavy for whatever they're typing into that search bar, right? So they're typing in weight loss supplements. They want to lose weight now. They didn't want to lose weight 2 months ago or 6 months ago or whenever. They want to lose weight today, which is why they're typing in weight loss supplements, right? Same with Google. With YouTube, which Google owns now. When people are looking for different videos to watch on YouTube, they are typing in a specific topic, right? How to lose weight quickly, or how to trade the stock market, or something like that. And they want to know now, today, right at this moment, about that topic, which is equally why Google AdWords through the YouTube system is still highly effective as Google AdWords used to be back in 2010, circa 2010, right? So that's why I really like YouTube now. I like it much, much better than YouTube. There's a lot less stringent policies and stuff like that on YouTube uh, through Google AdWords than there is with Facebook. Facebook is crazy. It's just hard to advertise on Facebook, and I don't recommend it for most people. But back then, when all of this stuff first started happening, which is now happening with Facebook, coincidentally, is that a lot of companies that were primarily marketing on Google AdWords and now today primarily advertising on Facebook, they're getting shoved out to the cold. And unfortunately, that was their only avenue and stream of income. By the way, you never want to set yourself up that way to where you actually put all your eggs in one basket in that way. Never, 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 never do that, please, because you can build a multi-million-dollar company, and if it's only on the back of Facebook, they decide that they don't like your company anymore and they pull all your ads and they ban your account. Then what do you do, right? Or same with YouTube. You build a multi-million-dollar company only using YouTube as your sole means of promoting, and then all of a sudden they change their name or they sell out or they do whatever, and your ad can't run anymore and they ban your account. Well, what happens when that happens if you only have all your eggs in one basket? And the answer is you lose an entire multi-million-dollar company overnight. That's how that works. All right. So you never want to be in that position. So you start off with one platform and then you move up to another platform and another, and you want to have like a handful, at least 3 minimum. And you want to have as many different types of ways of getting traffic to your websites, because one of them will pull the plug at some point, and you don't want to, again, have all your eggs in one basket in that way. All right. So the exception to the rule is YouTube, at least I feel is YouTube. Most marketers, as I mentioned, were pretty much banned from the regular Google AdWords platform, which I think they're changing the name now to Google Ads instead of AdWords, but I'm old school, so I will always probably call it Google AdWords. But again, like I mentioned earlier, you can now use the power of YouTube the same way that you were using the Google AdWords system for huge profits for most product types, all right? And like I mentioned also too before, you can't sell downloads on eBay. So if you are interested in the online to offline marketing method, you could use eBay. However, if you're interested in the online to online marketing method, you can't use eBay or Amazon to be able to pull that off. And trying to get enough pay-per-click exposure only through different pay-per-click search engines like Bing or Yahoo, it's just not sufficient enough. So again, if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about, just stick with me for a little time longer, because I'm going to show you a little bit about what we're talking about here. So in the very beginning, I'm going to be showing you the very least barrier of entry to be able to get involved in a hugely successful cash flowing aggressive income business, right? We're actually going to start with eBay. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how powerful this platform still is to this day, which is surprising because eBay has been around forever. They've gone through their highs and lows, and now they're really making a comeback in a huge way. And this is one of the students that I've been working with over the years. He was making a lot of money on eBay. Then he had to deal with a really huge slump period. And now this is the guy I was telling you about that's over 90,000 a month with just eBay alone. And I've warned him about that. And he's now starting the process of doing direct mail marketing and other types of marketing just in case eBay falls off the face of the earth like some of them do. But he's making a lot of money. And I'm going to show you the exact methods that he uses to make tons of money on eBay. And then you can move into having your own money funnel to where you're driving traffic to your money funnel that's separate from any other platform, including eBay or Amazon. And you now have your own platform and you could actually sell your own products or sell affiliate products. So that's how we level up. So we're starting from the bottom, the lowest barrier of entry, and then we're going to move our way up. All right. So it takes a little bit of money, but not a lot. It requires some level of skill, but not a lot. And then we go into the offline where we actually have a play on the offline strategy, which includes direct mail and postcards. And this is where we kind of up the ante a little bit as we go along. This strategy is probably going to be covered mostly on the third day. But I'm actually going to, again, like I mentioned before, peel the curtain back on exactly what I'm doing nowadays in a way that I've never done before. And you can actually see what I'm doing because 90% of my advertising is through offline marketing strategies. That's 90%. That's how I'm able to make millions of dollars a year in what I'm doing is the offline marketing strategies. The other 10% comes from YouTube. And so now you know my whole marketing strategy. I just told you what it is. So that's what I do now. And, again, YouTube is amazing, but, when you've been burned once, and I have been with Google AdWords, I don't think I'll ever get it to the 50% threshold because I don't really trust YouTube as much as I used to trust Google AdWords back in the day. But I might up it a lot more. I might take 20% share on YouTube and drop it down to 80% on direct mail. But I'm going to show you exactly how my whole business works in a way that I've never shown anyone before. And that'll be on the third day. And so that's the most complicated method of all this. So you can start from the bottom, the very easiest way. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. And then you can work your way up to your own money funnels, which will go into detail tomorrow. And then we'll finally talk about the most complicated way, the way that I do it 90% of the time anyway, which is offline. All right. So if this is confusing, don't worry. Just keep hanging out with me because eventually it'll all start clicking together. It'll all start coming to make sense. So I don't want anybody to worry about anything. All right. So some little bit of pay-per-click history, as I mentioned. Back in 2010, they did a lot of slaps. They slapped everything and everybody for everything. And now, unless you're basically Geico Insurance or a big company like that, you're not going to really be able to, market on Google AdWords anymore. Again, that does not apply to YouTube. YouTube is different, even though it's owned by Google. So because of the online pay-per-click gold rush, most offline marketing methods began to vanish. So back in 2007, when I tried to start getting to continue my direct mail marketing, it became very difficult because the mailing lists were just simply not available. And so because the mailing lists were not available, which I only get recent buyers of like products that I'm selling, I was unable to continue doing a lot of direct mail marketing. But at that point, I didn't really care because I started to really up the ante on Google AdWords and I was doing extremely well. I made millions and millions of dollars off of Google AdWords from 2007 all the way through 2010 when I was slapped off permanently. So between that time, though, I wasn't really doing any direct mail at all. And during that time, a lot of other people weren't either, which is why the direct mail marketing mailing list dried up. And so it actually took several years to build back up again from the 2010 point when I was slapped off, because then I had to reinvent myself when it came to marketing. And what kept our company afloat, and this is going to be a lesson for all of you, is my huge email list that I was able to build up. I built up a huge email list. So if you're wondering how to get rich online, it's building a huge email list as quickly as possible. That's your big secret. We had just done a retreat in Hawaii, and I had Jesse, my video guy there, and I taught him how to do this internet business, and he's like making bank on it, right? He's making around 50,000 a month, and he said his sole asset in his business right now is his email list. That's how he's able to continue making tons of money, is by constantly selling his current fans, if you will, different products over and over again. And so that's how he makes a ton of money. And that's his secret. All right. That's the secret for all of us marketers, really. And so from 2010 to about 2013, 12, 13, somewhere in there, I was relying mostly on my email list before I started getting back into the game of direct mail marketing. And then I started with postcards and all that good stuff. So that is the secret in how this business works, is build up a huge email list as quickly as possible and then keep selling your email list different products over time. And they don't have to be your products, by the way. They could be affiliate marketing products, but they do have to be of the same wheelhouse nature. We'll talk about wheelhouses as we go along here, but they do have to be of like product type than what people originally wanted through you. All right. So the good news, though, is that during the time of all the slaps and all the stuff going on, a lot of your fly-by-night companies completely went out of business. So all the people that were selling the shim shammy, get rich on the internet kind of stuff, they all kind of vanished into thin air over time. And that was good, because then it really leveled out all the competition. They ceased to exist within a short period of time. Do you like that bird? You guys paying attention? I do that kind of stuff to make sure you guys are paying attention. Okay, so I just want to make sure that all of you are paying attention, all right? So now the road is yet again wide open. The opportunity is coming back full circle for all of you that want to get started, and the playing field has already leveled. It's going to level even more when all the devastation of everything starts to occur with all these people online. So I'm going to tell you who's going to start going broke online, right? Let's start off with any and all people that have any kind of consulting on, losing weight, or like there's a lot of these people that have these high level mentorship programs where they're training people how to lose weight, and they're charging anywhere from like $250 to $500 a month. They're all going to go under. A lot of your really high level coaching stuff that they're charging 25,000 or more a year, that's going to go under. Who else is going to go under? I'm trying to think of all of the competitors I have. The ones that are going to do really well, by the way, the ones that have been doing well this whole time, are anybody selling any kind of marketing systems to companies. They're going to continue doing well. Any kind of way to get new leads or extra leads, or a lot more leads than you're used to, those companies will stay around. They'll continue doing well. I just don't know if they'll be able to pull the same kind of income that they were used to on their higher level mentorship programs and inner circle programs. But you're going to have a lot of people at the bottom that are going to start struggling. And then even worse, coupled with the perfect storm of Facebook basically pulling everybody off. So Facebook, in case you don't know, they're doing exactly what Google AdWords did 10 years ago. They're basically bumping everybody off. And it started happening when they had that whole congressional hearing with Zuckerberg, and the whole thing after the 2016 election with the Russian troll farms and all this other stuff. And so they started bumping everybody off for pretty much no reason at all. I never liked Facebook. I think Zuckerberg's a piece of crap. And the reason I do is because he just basically farms everybody's information and he just sells it. I think he sells it to the government, quite honestly, because he should have gotten a lot more trouble by the US government for everything that happened, and he didn't. And I don't even think he got a slap on the wrist, and I think it's because he's giving them or selling them all of our private information in a way that they don't have the ability to farm themselves, because they don't have the technical aptitude to do so. So that's what my theory is on why Zuckerberg never got in trouble for everything that happened. But unfortunately, he's now being really cautious as we go into the next electoral cycle. And so he's kicking everybody off now. So he's doing exactly what, it's not like we haven't seen this in history and internet marketing. We've all seen it. All of us old school people who've been around forever have seen all these things happen already. And one thing I have to warn you guys about is a couple of different strategies that have stayed tried and true. And that is eBay has been a really good strategy that's kind of stayed tried and true as far as being an internet business in and of itself. That's been pretty much tried and true all of these years. And then the offline marketing strategy of marketing with direct mail, which is something I'm going to be talking about in the final day. So those are the only two tried and true strategies that haven't really changed at all. Everything else is just kind of got ripped up like a tornado. I mean, it's either gone or completely altered or just not recognizable anymore. So what does all this mean to you? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, you can't not think that you can't do this because you can. Please get rid of any false beliefs. This is one of the reasons why I like working with younger people, like in their 20s and 30s and even in their early 40s, is that they haven't already psyched themselves out. Oh, I can't do this, or I can't get online, or I can't, they don't talk themselves out of it, right? They're like, oh, okay, I could probably do that. Or, and the only reason why I'm able to get some of the older people to want to try is because Bev has been so successful and she's over 70. Not many of my students are over 70, so they have no other excuse about age or I don't know all this stuff or I can't figure this out. But even then, you can start to see the walls go up with some of the people that are like my age and older. When they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Or, oh, this just seems so hard. Really hard? You want to see what hard is? You want to know what hard is? Hard is, like I mentioned before, with what our ancestors had to deal with when they first came to this country 100+ years ago. That was freaking hard, okay? They had to get on a boat. They had to get sick. The boats did not have the stabilizers that they have today. I mean, it was just a nightmare trying to just get here. And then when they got here, they got off the boat, and then what? They had their little knapsack with them, maybe a few bucks in their pocket, and that's all they had. And then they had to start their entire life working 16 hours a day for pennies, and standing at the docks at 4 a.m. to try to get work. And there'd be hundreds of them showing up, and they would only pick a handful of people to do the dock work and the loading work and unloading work. That was hard. Okay, that's hard. Some of the immigrants that come to this country, even still to this day, they have to work as minimum wage workers, or they have to, scrub toilets, or they have to pick strawberries in a field. That is hard, people. This is not hard. So every single time you want to talk yourself out of doing the next step in the process or trying to figure out how to do the next step in the process, just think about our ancestors, what they had to go through when they came here, or even people that are foreign to this country, what they have to go through. And then you'll understand what hard means, all right? Maybe you'll actually talk yourself out of making excuses. So leave all of your preconditioned ideas at the door, including and also to all of your internet strategies that you think you might be able to make work, because things are changing, and I'm going to show you how these things work in today's day and age, including how to work on eBay in today's day and age, how to work as an affiliate in today's day and age, how to build a money funnel in today's day and age. We're going to talk about everything in today's day and age, which is 2020 and moving forward. So the most important secret to internet marketing is obviously to stop doing what everybody else is doing, namely what all the gurus out there are running around doing, because what they're doing is they're just teaching you on strategy based on theory. They're teaching you on strategy based on stuff that doesn't work anymore, or they're teaching you strategies based on stuff that's only part of the information and not all of it. So don't even listen to anything that anybody else has to say. Also, too, you want to make sure that you are going into a system that's a little more complicated and above grade than what most people can figure out, because you don't want anybody knocking you off. Unfortunately, with websites like spyfoo.com and keywordspy.com and some other ones like SEMrush, you could actually spy on somebody's exact empire that they have running online. Anybody could do that now. Those were tools that didn't exist back in 2008, 2010. They exist now. And you can actually spy on anybody else, but you don't want it to be that easy for anybody to pick up your marketing strategies at all. So there's a way of doing that, which is to ultimately, at some point, to implement some kind of your offline marketing strategy along with and coupled with your online marketing strategies. So this whole process is a lot simpler than you think to be able to make money doing this, all right? But it is a process like anything else, and you do have to understand how the whole thing works. So we're going to start building your business from the ground up. We're going to actually talk about everything that you need to know to start your business, including and not limited to choosing your business name, which has to be the very first part of all this. It surprises me that as many years as I've been teaching this stuff, there's a lot of people that do not know the basics of starting a business. They don't know about how to form a corporation in their home state. They don't know about what an EIN number is and all these different things. And so I want to cover that quickly, because even though I know a lot of you know of this stuff, there's probably a couple of you that don't, or a couple of you that did not do it yet. You have to do this when you start your business. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be successful by even implementing what we call the asset protection angle of this whole thing. You have to have a business or a corporate structure to be able to protect you and protect your personal assets. So this is one of the reasons why we do this, is to keep everything separate from your personal or from your business side. So when you create a strong business name, a strong corporate business name, there's a couple of simple and easy ways to do this, and a lot of my students have done this over the years, where they'll have a front part which can be new or power or global. Worldwide, mega, cutting edge, dynamic, etc. And then you have a back part, which is like international, group, enterprises, associates, united, innovations, national. And if you don't think I do these things myself, I absolutely do these things myself. My latest corporation that I filed in the state of California, which was this year, has international on the back of it. It's LWD International. And LWD actually stands for Living the Writer's Dream. And so that's my latest corporation. So I actually follow these strategies that I teach you guys. I do them myself, and I still to this day do these things myself. So this is not some theory or some stuff that I'm throwing out there just to talk and just to jabber my jaws here. I'm actually doing these exact things that I teach you guys. And so when you're trying to come up with a corporate name in your home state, and again, it has to be in your home state where you reside right now, to be completely and fully legally compliant. This is one of the easiest ways of coming up with a quick and easy business name. And so you're going to have the front part and the back part, and then the very back part is going to be the corporate designation. So for example, it's going to be, let's make up a name here. We'll do Global Enterprises. So Global Enterprises, and then the state is going to ask you to pick a very back end of it. It's going to be either Inc., which is INC period, or you could spell out incorporated, which is not recommended because it's so damn long. Or you could pick out company spelled out, or you could pick out CO period, which stands for company. Or you could spell out limited, or you can abbreviate limited, which is LTD period. So there's different back variants that you can use for your corporation, but the state you incorporate in is going to require that you choose one of those. It's either going to be Inc., Incorporated, Company, Co., Limited, LTD. I don't think there's any other designations, and maybe there is that I'm missing, but those are usually the main ones. And so for me, I always pick Inc. for the most part, INC. There's a couple companies that I picked Limited, LTD. And then there's one company I picked CO period. But most of the time I just pick INC, because it's very short, it's very sweet, it's to the point. Co is even shorter, which is CO period. So you could choose like Global Enterprises Inc., for example, or Mega International. And then they'll tell you, by the way, if it's already taken. You could choose like Cutting Edge Innovations Limited, or LTD. I strongly recommend that on the back end, the very back end, the corporate designation, that you choose a very short and sweet abbreviated one, because if you're choosing Cutting Edge International Incorporated, that's a really long ass name to have to spell out all the time. And then when you get in the groove of doing your business and having to fill out forms and all the other stuff you got to do, the incorporated part really gets to be a strain on your wrist when you're having to write that out all the time. So just that's something to keep in mind, something I didn't keep in mind when I first started my business. So you do have to have a business. There's another one that a lot of my students use and I've used, is that you can create your own word. As I just mentioned, I used initials in my last corporate filing in the state of California. They were not my initials, they just were abbreviated of something else. So you can create a name, you could use internationals, you could use your partner and your name together, you could put your sun signs together, you could create a power word that you want to create that's powerful animals, for example, together. So there's a lot of different ways that you can create a business name. And it's even better to do it this way, where you're creating your own word, because it's easy for you to get the domain. So you can go to GoDaddy.com and get the domain for your business a lot easier when you're making up your own words, right? So that's one of the reasons why I recommend creating your own word. Now, a lot of people will ask me, well, why not do an LLC? Well, you can do an LLC if you have a physical business partner, if you actually want to go into business with your spouse or somebody else that you actually have a physical business partner with. Otherwise, you want to be by yourself, which is going to be an S corporation, which is going to just be a regular corporation. So the LLCs I like to usually use only for real estate transactions. So when you start to purchase your properties, you're going to be getting LLCs for those. And the cool thing about your properties when you start getting your passive income assets, which we're going to be doing halfway through the process of our business activities, is that you can use your business, this S corporation that you're forming here, as one of your partners, and you can be the other partner on your LLC for your real estate transaction. So, for example, I'm in California. And what I've done many, many times is I've used myself as one of the entities on my LLC for my real estate, and I've used my California corporation as the other entity on my transaction for my real estate. So when I'm buying, for example, Georgia properties on Georgia LLC, I'll have myself as one of the partners and Success for Life, well, back then it was Global Success Systems, as the other partner. And I would actually use my business credit to be able to help bolster up and get a better loan for my mortgages for my real estate. So that's how that typically works. So you could do the same thing, but you want this umbrella corporation. We call this an umbrella corporation. We want this one to just be an S corporation, all right? Even if you are married or have a spouse and you think you're going to be married forever, I caution you to just do this on your own. Please do this on your own, because if there's ever a divorce or any kind of issue with arguing over money that your corporation is making, you don't want to have to deal with all the issues of splitting up an LLC. It's just a lot of work. So just set up your own business yourself, by yourself. That's what my biggest recommendation is. If I have any recommendation for anyone who's married or in a serious long-term relationship, just get your own S corporation, please. So I recommend a company called AmeriLawyer.com, but they only do a handful of states. Like they do California, Nevada, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, New Jersey, and New York. I think those are the only 10 states that they do. So if that's not one of your states, then I recommend either LegalZoom.com, which they take forever. The better recommendation for you is to actually go on Google.com, type in the states that you want to incorporate. So say, for example, you live in Montana, you type in incorporate in Montana on Google.com. Or say, for example, you live in Utah, you type in incorporate in Utah, and then you'll get some recommendations, hopefully some mom and pop type of companies that could set up quickly for you. And then if you're Canadian, you probably have your own business structure up there in Canada. I'm not really familiar with how that whole thing works. Now, I know Canadians have a social security number. It's called a social insurance number. It's much like what we have here in the United States, and we're all on the Northern American FICO system, so we're all together on that. So I know how the credit stuff works in Canada, but I'm not really familiar with how the corporation stuff works in Canada. But you can definitely set up your own corporation up there through, I'm sure, some attorneys or paralegals that specialize in that up in Canada. So you want to choose a generic non-identifying name. Now, what I mean by non-identifying is that you don't want it to identify exactly what you do. So years ago, I made a mistake because I was going to go into the business of servicing. I was going to create a golf putter because I had and I'm not going to tell you who this is, but I actually had a golf pro that was going to want to bring a putter to the market. And I had this whole setup that I wanted to do. And then the deal turned out it didn't work, but I had already formed the corporation, which had the word golf in it. It had the word golf in the business name. And that was a mistake because even though this whole deal with this golf pro completely evaporated, I was unable to use the business for a different purpose. Like I could have just turned around and sold a different product or did something else with the corporation, but because it had the name golf in it, I was unable to do that and I had to dissolve the company. So you want to always have a generic non-identifying name, which is kind of how I showed you how to create your own business name with so far anyway, because you don't want anybody to know really what you do. That's been done on purpose. You do it because you want to be able to sell and have the freedom to sell anything that you want to sell at any given time or change your whole product line if you want, and you don't ever have to go back and change your business name for that. So you want to file a corporation in your home state. I know a lot of lawyers will try to get you to get a Nevada corporation or a Wyoming or Delaware or different corporations someplace else. But unless you live in one of those places, do not get a corporation there, because if you're functioning as a full throttle business in that state, say for example you're in California and you got a Nevada corporation, you could potentially be convicted of interstate commerce violations if you are trying to operate a California business with a Nevada corporation. You don't want to get in trouble like that. Now, I've never heard of this happening to anybody, but I'm always one to dot all my I's and cross all my T's, and it's my responsibility and obligation to tell you that that is a realistic possibility if you're trying to use a corporation out of state. And then you also too don't get the same corporate protections as well, because if anything ever happens where your company's being sued, a really good attorney can very well say that you're using the Nevada corporation as an alter ego, and it's really not a corporation at all, and then they could ultimately target your personal assets, because if you're functioning out of a different state, you can't really realistically say that you are in Nevada if you're really not. So that's really the risk there. So I recommend that you always have a corporation in your home state. You'll also get something called an EIN, which is your employer identification number. This is equivalent to your company's social security number. This is also how you're going to be able to build business credit, is by using this EIN number when you apply for credit for the company. So say, for example, you want to get your Business American Express, and one of the first offers you're going to be getting in the mail once you start your corporation is a Business American Express. And so what you'll do is you'll obviously have to use your own social security number on the application, but then you also put the company EIN on the application as well, and that's when you start to build business credit, is when you're using that Business American Express to get credit. And so then ultimately you'll be able to have a lot of business credit, which you can use to help you get loans for real estate later. That could actually help you a lot. So once you get your EIN number, which you could do online by going to irs.gov, and you need to wait till you get your corporate resolution paperwork first. So you go and get your EIN number, then you could file immediately at the same sitting a Form 2553. So what I recommend you do is you have a service like AmeriLawyer.com, set up the corporate docs for you. They'll mail you the docs, usually by FedEx. You get the docs, and you can then sit at your computer, preferably a computer that's with hooked up to a printer, because you're going to have to print off your EIN number. You go there to irs.gov, you type in EIN online in the irs.gov search bar. So you go to irs.gov, find the search bar, type in EIN online, and then you'll get directly to the page that you could start the process of getting your EIN. Once you get your EIN, you print it out because you're going to need it to open up your business bank account. You then go into the irs.gov website again, you type in Form 2553 in the search bar, and you'll get directly to the page that will convert your C corporation to an S corporation. Now, this is a form. The IRS is old school, guys, so you're going to have to be aware of the fact that you're going to either have to fax in or mail in your request to change from a C corporation to an S corporation, because please note that all corporations are born a C corporation, right? Not an LLC or a PC, but all corporations start off and are born as a C corporation. This means that if you want to change it from a C to an S corporation, which you will want to do because you don't want to be double taxed, then you are going to have to file Form 2553. So again, you first file your EIN, you first get that, which you can get instantly at irs.gov. Then once you get that, then you can go ahead and file Form 2553. You're going to have to fill out their fillable PDF form. You're going to have to print it off, and then you're either going to have to mail it in or fax it in. I typically do both because I don't trust the IRS. And so what I usually do is I will actually just fax it to them, and then I will mail it off to make sure that that form's in there. So the reason you don't want to be a C corporation is because C's, as I mentioned, they're double taxed. A C corporation is for like the big boys, like GM or Microsoft or a big, huge, humongous company. And the way my CPA described it years ago is that the reason that they get away with not paying taxes is because they get a lot of tax breaks. And at the very end of their tax year, what they'll do is they will go ahead and basically drain out all their profits. They'll pay the CEOs, they'll pay bonuses out, they'll pay on tax dividends and all these different, stock dividends and all these different things, so that at the very end of their fiscal year, they don't have any taxes to pay on the corporation because they've already drained out all the profits. So that's how they get away with doing that, where they don't have to pay the double taxation. But the little guy will have to pay on the profits of the corporation. Then they have to pay it again at their personal level on their personal taxes. And so when they pay on their personal taxes, you're then getting taxed again. So what an S corporation does is it allows you to get what's called a direct flow down of your profits, meaning that all your profits will flow down directly to you through what's called a K1, which is equivalent to a W2 for your business. So that's in business lingo, it's a K1, and a K1 will show you what the profits are that you have to pay on your personal taxes. And so whatever your personal tax bracket will be is what you'll have to pay for your profits on your S corporation. So that's typically how you do it. So an S corporation will end its tax year on December 31st of every year. A C corporation can end at any last day of any given month, but an S corporation ends at the same fiscal year that our personal taxes are, so it kind of makes it a lot easier to remember. But please note, though, that when you file your business taxes, it has to be done March 15th of every year. It's exactly 1 month before our personal taxes are due, all right? So you do have to remember that you have to file your business taxes, and it's very easy to do. You just go and get one of those TurboTax softwares every year. I usually get mine at Office Depot or someplace. And then I usually use the software just to check and see where I'm at before I give all my paperwork over to my tax lady. And then she'll actually do the final filing for me. But you guys don't need to do all that. All you need is the TurboTax every year. Make sure you get the one for business for the 1120S form is what you're going to have to file. So make sure that it's for corporations. You want the TurboTax for corporations. So you just file your own taxes every year for your business. That's good enough in the very beginning. And then generate your K1. And then once you have your K1, then you'll be able to file your personal taxes, if that makes sense, all right? So it's just extra stuff you got to do as a business owner. You should also get a business address. This can be a post office box or a UPS store type of address or a pack and post or one of those types of addresses, but you don't want to just use your home address for business activities. Next is your business phone number. This is optional, but this can be like a Magic Jack, a Vonage number, even an extra cell number. You definitely need a business bank account, but you're going to need your corporate resolution paperwork and your EIN number to be able to go to the bank and open up a business bank account. You could always start in the very beginning a separate personal account to be able to get some of your affiliate income coming in, but ultimately you're going to want a business bank account. Keep everything separate. So as soon as you get all your corporate stuff, you can go ahead and do all of that. All right. So your business, your additional basic business setup goes like this. You might need a seller's permit or a business license, especially if you plan on selling any kind of goods online. It depends on the state or the county that you're in, so you'll have to double check that online if you'll need any of that stuff. But many times you'll need a seller's permit to just be able to get wholesale things from different companies. Because if you don't have a seller's permit or a business license, you won't be able to get any kind of wholesale deals on anything. So you might need that for some of the things you might be selling. You also need a PayPal account for business, a ClickBank affiliate ID, which is very easy to get. You could probably get one in the next few minutes if you don't have one. Aweber.com, which is to build your large email list, because if you remember what I just said, you do need to build a big email list if you ultimately want to make a ton of money in the business of online marketing. So you'll definitely want to do that. I've used Aweber since 2007, so I've used those. You've been using them for a very long time. So I recommend them. I don't have any comment about MailChimp or Drip.com, but I have tried Drip.com and I found that they're just not sufficient for my needs. They're just very ridiculously strict on everything that they do, and I just don't like working with them. MailChimp, I've also heard, will shut people down if they don't like your marketing messages. But I've had some really good luck with Aweber over the years, so I recommend them. Later on, if and when you do decide to sell your own products on your own website, you want a merchant account, which allows you to take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. And you could use a company like Stripe.com, or if you're selling health supplements, you're definitely going to want to get Easy Pay Direct, because Stripe.com will not allow you to sell health supplements. You'll want EasyPayDirect.com to be able to sell health supplements. If you're going to do product sales, you're going to have to find manufacturers of these products, which I'll show you a little bit about how to find those as we go along here. You also want to look at master-resale-rights.com, because you definitely want to get reports, which you could buy for like a few dollars each, and you could do what's called PLR, or private label rights. And you could sell some of these reports as if they're your own reports, as if you created or wrote them yourself. but you could actually give these away to get people to sign up for your email list. So it's really good, what we call bait. Domains, you'll definitely want to go to GoDaddy.com to get your domains, and then you'll need a platform to ultimately set up your websites or your money funnels. And I recommend moneyfunnelfreetrial.com, which gives you a 14-day free trial for the platform that I use that you could get some clones for, which I'll be giving away as we go along here. Now, in this business or any business, you cannot be married to a specific product or idea. It can and most likely will change at any given time. Also, too, make sure that you choose your generic business name. You're probably wondering, well, why are you asking me to choose a business name now before we even started selling any products? Well, I did that on purpose because I want you to choose a business name now before you start selling any products, because I don't want your business name to get detoured or kind of dissuaded or manipulated by the product that you want to sell. So, for example, if you decide you want to sell anti-aging cosmetics or something, you might change your business name to include something with cosmetics or something with skincare in the business name if you knew that that's the type of product you wanted to sell. So I want you to only pick your business name before you decide to choose to sell anything, so that you have a business name that's as generic as possible, because it allows you, a generic business name allows you to sell any kind of product by only setting up one business entity, at least for now. You could always adapt a brand or a specific product name later in a DBA if you'd like, when your product takes off, but for now we want a generic business name. Also, too, if you decide to have your own online platform, like your own money funnel, I strongly recommend that you consider doing information publishing products, and I'll tell you the difference between everything as we go along here. But you want to do info products, especially if you're going to do a download or do an affiliate program. You want info products instead of physical shipping if you have your own money funnel. If you decide to use a different platform like Amazon or eBay, then it's definitely okay to sell physical products like health supplements or consumables. But if you're going to be an affiliate for somebody, or if you're going to have your own money funnel platform or your own money funnel websites, you're definitely going to want to sell and push information publishing products, because they have a much higher perceived value than a physical product does. All right. So you will definitely have one of these two structures for a business. You're either going to have an online marketing strategy set up, like, for example, eBay or Amazon, with offline product fulfillment, which is meaning that you're going to have to box up some stuff and ship it out, right? Or have Amazon box it up and ship it out for you. You're going to also you're going to have an offline marketing method to an online product fulfillment, whether it's a download, or you could do an online to online, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a little more difficult, but can be done with a specific strategy that I'll outline tomorrow as we go along with our online to online marketing strategy. But there is a way that you could exclusively online market, except that you will be at some point limiting your profitability. And the reason you'll be limiting your profitability is because there's only so many people that you could target online that's going to be your key customer. For example, say you are trying to sell an anti-aging product and you have your YouTube videos going, you have your Facebook ads going, you have all these other online platforms going, but the reality of the situation is you're going to be limiting who you could target. And the reason you're limiting who you could target is because not all of your customers are online. That's the reality, especially in that demographic. Your customers are going to be, on average, over 45 years old, that are going to be really deeply interested in anti-aging products, whether it's a pill that they pop or whether it's a topical that they put on. You're going to be limited because not everybody in that demographic is online. Not everybody in that demographic is, on Facebook. Not everybody in that demographic is typing in anti-aging, secrets on YouTube. They're just not there. And so you're going to find that you're going to have to, at some point in time, adopt some kind of offline marketing strategy, whether it's putting a small magazine ad out there or whether it's doing some direct mail marketing pieces. You're going to actually have to branch out at some point and reach out into the offline marketing world, which is extremely powerful and extremely profitable, but you have to be willing to do it. So when you limit yourself online, you're limiting yourself to search engines, You're limiting yourself to organic SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is harder and harder to do. YouTube videos, banners, online ads. That's what that's what you're limiting this to. And to be honest with you, because of my extensive experience with offline marketing and online marketing, I have to tell you that even though all the online stuff seems to be the way to do it, and it seems to be the way that everybody should go, and it seems to be easier, it's nothing but. I mean, there's nothing easy about the ever-changing algorithms of Facebook. There's nothing easy about constantly having to change an ad or change a video or change this and that to be able to compete online. There's nothing easy about any of it. But I can have the same direct mail marketing piece for years and years and years and years and not even change a single word. Now, on my latest marketing strategy that I've been using for a long time, it's my, I'm going to be showing you this exact card that I sent out, by the way, on the third day here. I'm going to be showing you this tested and proven and evergreen. We call it evergreen in the in the marketing business, where something lasts for a long time. It's called evergreen. And it's evergreen, and the only thing I have to change is the year. That's it. Every single year I have to change the year. So what it is, it's a invitation style card, which again I'll show you on the third day. I'll show you exactly what it looks like, and it's a multi-million-dollar card. It's really an exceptional mailing piece. And I just have to change the years that it's been since 1937. So I had to change it from 80 years, and then 81 years, and then 82 years, and I just changed it a couple months ago to 83 years. And that's how long it's been since Think and Grow Rich was published back in 1937. So I just keep having to change one number in the card every single year, but everything else stays the same. The website stays the same. The wording stays the same. The pictures stay the same. Everything stays the same. And I just change one thing every single year. That's it. But that's considered an evergreen offer, where it just doesn't change. I don't change anything. I don't even change the online offer. I don't even change the website that they all go to. I don't change any of that. I just change the 1 year every single year because I have to. And so you're going to eventually have to choose what you're going to do, but I'm going to help make the choice a lot easier for you. All right. So how this whole process begins. Now, this is how I used to teach this, where you find your market first. You want to find a pond or a city or a huge pile of people somewhere that all have the same interest, ideally an interest in a product or service that you like. And then once you find this pond of people, or this crowd of people that all have the same interest, it could be golfers, it could be stock traders, it could be people that want to lose weight, it could be people that want to look younger, people that want to date, something. You want to find a huge pond of people that all have the same idea or the same goal. And then you want to find a product to sell to that market. But then recently I started changing it. It's like, well, no, actually first you have to think about what you're most passionate about before you pick all of these things. Because if you're not passionate about this, then you're not going to get very far in this business, right? So this is how I used to teach it, where you find the market, find the product. It's very cut and dry, very computer-esque, if you will. But now you really have to think about, well, of all these things that Monica says makes money, which one floats my boat the most? Start thinking about that, because then you're going to do really well in the business, right? That's the key to this. Then you create a unique selling proposition, or something that's different or sets your product apart from everybody else's. You want to determine the very best marketing methods that you have to use for product sales, which is based mostly on the kind of product it is and the marketing outlet that's recommended for it. And then you want to keep close tabs on what your results are based on the types of marketing strategies that you're testing out. So you're probably wondering, well, where do I begin with all this? I mean, it just seems like she's throwing so much stuff at me. It's like, well, I'm just going to cut it down to size for you. There's only 2 things that you're going to ever consider when it comes to marketing anything. I don't care whether you're marketing online. I don't care whether you're marketing offline. It's going to come down to 2 things. An information publishing product, which is like a home study course or something to that nature. It could be seminar DVDs. It could be a variety of things, but it's basically info products, right? Or The health and dietary supplement also considering topicals, which I like to call consumables. These are the ones where people run out of product every single month because they're either popping pills or they're rubbing stuff on their skin or something, but they need more replenished supply every single month if you have a good product, right? So those are the two types of umbrella product categories we're going to consider here. There's nothing else for you to consider. I don't even want you to consider services. Services is not where we're at, because then you have to individually service people, and we don't want to be in that business. All right. So information publishing, it's very highly lucrative. It's a very low or no cost for fulfillment, because if you're doing a download, there's no cost for fulfillment, or to print up a course or some books, it's very low to print those up. You can also extend your product lines and also allow for continuous profitability, and it's fairly easy to pull off, especially since product delivery on the download side is very easy since there's nothing to fulfill. The cons is that it does require some expertise in a high demand area. Product development can be time consuming if you're not using private label rights or products that are already developed. And if you decide to choose the wrong product for one reason or another, you're dead in the water, because you might actually go through the whole process of creating this whole course that took you 3 months or 4 months or 6 months to develop, and maybe nobody wants to buy it. All right, so that's a problem. And because of that, I don't recommend that most people do this. Now, I do recommend that you plug into somebody's already tested, proven, and successful system as an affiliate if you're going to be doing the information publishing side, because then you don't have to develop a product from scratch, which takes 3 to 6 months. Then you don't have to deal with, testing anything out or seeing if there's a market for it, or do any of the marketing for it, because the marketing itself is actually done on the affiliate website. So if you want to sell information publishing products, I do recommend that you do plug into an affiliate. So just give you an example, I am currently developing a product for aspiring writers, and I know that there's a risk that maybe nobody's going to want it. I've already been in the product development phase on this product for at least 3 months now, and there's another 2 or 3 months to go on the product development side, and I might actually get it to the point where I build out my entire funnel, I build out this entire course, this whole system, everything that goes with it, and maybe nobody's going to want it. And so I'm taking that risk because I know what the risk is. For you getting started in this business, I recommend that you jump into something that's tested and proven. I don't recommend that you dilly-dally around with testing things out, because it's going to take too much soul sucking, and it's going to, deflate your confidence if your first product that you develop doesn't work, and then you might not ever get up again to try success in something else. So I don't recommend that you start off with this unless, again, you're plugging into somebody's already successful affiliate program. That's the only time I recommend a newbie getting started in this business go with information publishing. All right. Now on the consumable side, these are your health supplements. It's a quick money maker. You could ship the product if you need to. You can make a load of cash from just your monthly auto shipments. This is the continuity program I was telling you about, when people want to sign up and get the same product over and over again every single month because they're running out. It's a really good, huge moneymaker. You could quickly add new products that complement the first product or the second product that you sell to them, and you can mostly market these products online. Now, the cons are that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can get in this business. You have to move more units to get to higher profitability, and manufacturers nowadays are charging more and more money on low bottle orders because of the amount of people that want to get involved in this business. So it's become a little more competitive than it has been in years past. Now, based on my extensive experience on both sides of the map here, I could tell you what types of products sell the best on both sides. So on the information publishing side, you have stock, commodity, forex trading, types of offers that do the best, real estate investing, how to make money in whatever field, make money online, make money with network marketing. And I forgot one, it's actually credit. Anything that has to do with fixing credit, fixing personal credit, business credit stuff does really well too. On the health side, male enhancement, any kind of herbal Viagra, weight loss, colon cleanse, HGH spray for anti-aging, breast enlargement, greens, which are like fitness greens. And I forgot one there too. I forgot the joint pain ones. That one does really well too. That one does well. And also too, anything for bodybuilders, whether it's protein powders, whey powders, those tend to do really well too. So a warning about health supplements, though, or other consumables, is that anybody can get in this business. There's like no barrier of entry. There's a much higher level of competition than ever before. But if you know a specific type of marketing strategy, which I'm going to show you, you can actually make a ton of money still doing this. The cost of supplements is getting higher, but if you do self-shipping versus drop shipping, you can cut costs. So for example, when you're doing drop shipping, you're going to get screwed. That's the bottom line here. However, if you decide to take, say, a couple hundred bottles and store them in your garage, which the cool thing is your garage space is like minuscule with what you'll need with this, then you can actually get a really good deal on the supplements still. But you have to be able to be willing to ship the product. Now, I've dealt with students in the past where they're just lazy. They just don't want to do this part. It's like, okay, what would you rather do? If you're going to sell a supplement for $30, say, and your drop shipper is going to charge you 15, but yet if you buy the bottles on your own, you're going to be down to 5. Why wouldn't you just buy a bunch of $5 bottles and ship them out yourself and make the extra $10? Why wouldn't you do that? But they're lazy. They're like, oh, I'd rather watch TV instead, or I'd rather do this instead, or okay, well then you're not cut out to make any money doing this business. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a control freak. I want to take the bottles, I want to ship them out myself. I want to make sure that there's an advertisement in there for them to buy something else. I want to make sure that I'm doing this right, and I'm not gonna expect or rely on a drop shipper to do all these things for me, because likely they're not going to do it properly. So that's me. But you might have a different strategy. I don't know. If you're lazy with any of this, though, by the way, don't even bother getting involved in any kind of business, because that's just not for you. You're going to have to, in the very beginning, hustle, and you're going to have to be willing to put things together, and you're going to have to be willing to figure things out, and you're going to have to be willing to wait and, write sales pieces and all these different things. And if you're not willing to do any of that, then this is probably not a business for you either, right? But if you're willing to do all of those things and learn, because I could teach you all of those things, then this is definitely the fastest and easiest online money making strategy out there. There's not going to be anything that's better, quicker, and easier for you to do. So I have to tell you, now is the time for you to figure out if you are ready to do this. And the reason I'm asking you this, do you really want to do this, is because, yes, I am about to show you a plan that's going to rock your world in a way that no other plan has ever rocked your world before. I'm going to show you something that's really incredible. And it's something that you can start making money with relatively quickly, but there's going to be a little work on your part. You might have to actually take a little bit of the supplement and house it in your garage and get some bubble envelopes from Uline. Uline, by the way, is a company that sells bubble envelopes in boxes. It's uline.com, ULINE.com. And they sell bubble wrap and boxes and bubble envelopes and all that stuff. So you go to Uline and get bubble envelopes and ship out your stuff. And are you willing to put an extra postcard to let people know who receive your product that you're selling something else and that they can get 20% off? Are you willing to do all these things for an extra couple hours a day, maybe max, to make an extra $10,000 to $20,000 a month, and then ultimately replace the current job that you have? Are you willing to do that? Because if not, then don't watch the rest of what I have to tell you. Because we're going to be taking a lunch break shortly, and then right after lunch at 1:30 sharp Pacific time, I'm going to go directly into the exact business that I'm talking about, the one that actually makes this one student of mine $90,000 a month. And if you are so lazy to where you're like, can't see myself storing any of the 100 bottles I have to get in my garage, or can't see myself getting bubble envelopes and stuffing them and sending them to the post office, or I don't really want to do any of this. Well, then don't show up after lunch, because what I'm about to show you is, yes, it's going to take a little work, not a lot, and certainly not what our ancestors had to deal with when they first came over to this country, or even current immigrants that come to this country, not anywhere near that kind of work. But if you're willing to put in anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours a day in this business, you could very well easily make $90,000 a month, just like this one student. And like I said, in the very least, if you're a quote unquote failure with this, you would be making between 90 and 100,000 a year in net profits, which I could probably tell you with some certainty, most of you, that's probably more than what you make a year now. Not some of you, but most of you. Um, and then you wouldn't have to work a job, and then you could double or triple your income from there. So if you're making 100,000 a year and you decide to quit your job and then do this full time, can you imagine how much you'd actually be making? Maybe 200,000 or 300,000 a year. So that's if you're doing a really crappy job figuring all this stuff out. All right. So we're going to cut out for lunch. We're going to be back here in approximately, I think it's 1:30. And then once we come back 1:30 Pacific time and exactly 90 minutes from now, I'm going to show you exactly how this business works. So I want you to get all warmed up, have a nice lunch, or if it's pre-dinner and on the East Coast, have a nice pre-dinner, and maybe do some jumping jacks and put your game face on, because I'm going to go through a lot of stuff that's going to blow your mind, and you're going to have to start writing some stuff down. I mean, I'm all excited about this. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this. It's just this business that I'm about to reveal to you is so freaking powerful. It's a game changer, and it can change your life. So I want everybody to show up here in 90 minutes sharp, and I'm going to get started right away showing you how this business works. Make sure you have your pen, your paper ready, because we're going to go into this, and I want you to take notes, all right? So have a good lunch, and I will see you in 90 minutes.